I said we were gonna do it, and I wasn't lying. He just wasn't on the show last week. But this whole show, first time seeing MJF in his suit with that championship belt. MJF theme song all show long.
Boo-doo-doo, 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 boo-doo-doo.
You were almost perfectly on the right time to what it is. You were in like, it was in that part. It's just, it was halfway through when you started yours.
Okay.
So you went past it. But it was...
I'm almost there.
But it was so close. If you go back and listen to it later, you'll see like 40 seconds in, there's a time where you were almost perfectly on it without you hearing what I'm playing.
It's because I'm a fan of the devil. That's all there is to it.
Devil worshiper.
I am a devil worshiper.
Although, I will say is if we ever do get fancy on that side and have you control the audio with like splicing music in with your headphones or whatever with the mixers, so that way you and I would both hear exactly what you're hearing, we could totally be on cue with shit. But there's a number of things that we could do to get fancy. On my side, I'm like, man, what if I got one of those I can't think of what it's called off the moment, the stream decks, and just made it where, and then the hotkeys where I can like switch to different scenes at the click of a button, so that way I could easily go, like, if you're going on like a rant, I could switch, like I could figure out one day how to switch to a view automatically super quick that's just focused on like you, and then I become smaller.
But you're already smaller.
My 7-foot tall coworker the other day looked at me, he's like, "What's up, big guy?" And I was like, that is, and I can't remember what how I got to it. I was like, that is so ironic here from you, and I just started like laughing. It's like, you are like the big guy in the office, but I'm like, but still, from you to me, you got a full like foot plus on me. If you're actually legitimately 7 feet, then you gotta put in a half on me.
It's just like, hey, big guy. Like, my arms are like the length of your entire body, but you're the big guy.
Right. So I would have hated this as a child. I 100% would have, because my life would have been hell. But as an adult, this could have been very handy. If I was born one day sooner, on St. Patrick's Day, I would have been a lot more okay if I was even shorter. Because I also probably would have changed my name at 18 years old to like Patrick or like Seamus or something, and be like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go full leprechaun with this. Could you imagine the money I could have made if I fully embraced it? Like going to bars or something. Like 21, 22. Just be like, you can have a real life St. Patrick's Day born leprechaun.
Yeah, I'm a real leprechaun. I'll come hang out at your party.
I will dress up
You
in
need
everything.
a real leprechaun? I'll be there.
I will find some of those chocolate candies where it can look like a giant pot of gold, or you guys can go splurge however you want. You can treat me like a Santa Claus at the mall, and you could just be like, come hang out with the leprechaun, get a picture with the leprechaun.
Hey man, you can still do it. You can still do it. Nobody's stopping you.
I want there to be something that they find out, like that over generations, that the planetation like kind of like they did with astrology. Just go back and say, hey, we've been doing something wrong for like the last 40 years and people miss time. So I can go back and be like, so you're telling me I legitimately should have been born on St. Patrick's Day? Like the time adds up that way. Be like, I want a change to my birth certificate.
Oh, that would be great.
Or how about this? You know what? I identify that I was born on March 17th and I am a leprechaun. That's how I feel like how it should have been. My mom had a long labor. I was born on March 17th. That's all you need to know. It's just the process didn't finish until the 18th, whatever.
Okay. Well, I identify as the friend of a leprechaun, I guess.
But yeah, I'm not doing the whole bar stuff anymore. No. That's the early days.
Well,
why is there advertisements in the middle of this? Ooh.
Because MJF needs some money.
According to his whole damn storyline, he no longer needs money.
Nah, he's still broke. Well, according to Mox's storyline, MJF doesn't. He never needed money because his mom bought his clothes from JCPenney.
Hey, I don't trust anyone who doesn't know the day of his own world championship match.
Hey, he did his best for a guy that didn't even know when the match was. I was just proud of him for showing up on the right day. And he was like, what day do I lose? Saturday, Sunday? I lose.
Well, that has been
basically how it was.
One of the worst mess ups to close a show right before a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's probably been more drastically or negative impacts for worse. But that was not good.
Mm-hmm. Man. Oh, speaking of Mox mess ups, we had another one today.
So I was thinking
that was pretty good.
After doing the intro, go with the thing that's freshest of memory with the best of 7. And then we can lump in. I was gonna say, I don't know if we should. I feel like there's a few things that are all kind of related, but Mox didn't even really talk about Regal and MJF. It's just him and Hangman, then him and Hangman again. Really, the only thing that really played into the big MJF stuff to even try to pair with it would be the Starks stuff.
Yeah.
Let you get some swigs in and then run off the intro. Although probably doing that probably with some bets up too, because a lot of time a cough or a sneeze comes after. Then also, if I ever got a stream deck, then I could do things like sound effects if I figured out how to use it all and get really good with computers. Actually, one thing that probably make a huge difference for me is just eventually going to using an actual mouse and keyboard versus my laptop mouse and keyboard.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I can't do very much on this touchpad. I start to get annoyed after a little while.
I think I have an eventual plan, but we shall see.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Just give me a couple seconds real quick to get to 10. It's It's always the most perfectly timed.
Even a thing called "It's Time for Wrestling Talk."
Ooh. At some point when switching subjects, I'm gonna ask you what time it is. Do you want to do the Mark Henry thing for Willow?
I mean that was. I mean, but it's the Dynamite main event. I guess I can do it for her because it's the Dynamite main event, though.
So does he say Rampage in it? Or does he just say it's time for the main? Okay. So I was like, yeah. That way it doesn't come awkward when I try to set you up for it. Let you embrace the Willow.
Yeah.
Reminds me of old things. I almost said it's Friday night. Damn it, Moxley. I don't know my days no more.
It's Sunday, Saturday.
What day do we have the pay-per-view?
It's wrestling.
Will not fuck up this one.
You got it. It's wrestling night.
It's Wednesday night and you know. Drugs are bad, okay?
It's Wednesday night and you know.
Someday. Come on.
I just gonna keep a straight face, and also I just found out that there's gonna be a lot of ads in that loop. Go to the 1 hour version. And then just right click loop.
It's wrestling night, and you know what that means.
You want to know the worst part now? I'm sitting there looking at a YouTube thing. That isn't his song either. But the picture of him is the worst picture ever. There's a weird edit to it.
That sounds terrible, then. I can't hear it, but it sounds terrible. I'm just gonna go with that.
This one has it too. There's a whole part where it goes super hard with bass, like doo 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 doo. Whatever, we're with it. They both have it. I don't care. Because it's Wednesday night, and you know what that means. There was AEW Dynamite on TV. It was officially the start of a new era. But we are Top Rope Tokes. I'm just saying, that guy.
Angel Motions.
And we are here to talk about AEW Dynamite and so much to the show.
Yeah. There was a women's main event.
Okay, but seriously, no. Honestly, there was moments that completely killed the crowd. There was matches that had the crowd at the palm of their hand. There was people that everybody loves. There was outfits made of money. Brawls that took up multiple segments and multiple spots. Championship match.
Yeah, there was a decent amount of story beat to this episode too. Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. Like there's some good matches.
And so I was like, there was a moment that killed the crowd altogether, like story wise, like in the middle of the show too. A little bit surprising in the placement, but get to that when we get to that. Let us start with the fast-paced action that is the most fresh in our minds, because the main event was match number 3 of Death Triangle versus The Elite.
Yeah. Going into this one, we were both sitting there just thinking or saying to each other, please don't do the 0-3, then the reverse sweep. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. But this match was different from the first two.
Massively different story.
Yeah.
Probably
like
my biggest key point.
Yeah, like the pacing was different here as well.
Half the match wasn't even the match.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of it was just the Elite taking out their aggression from the first two matches. They're like, we're supposed to be the cheaters. What the fuck, guys?
Yeah. Elite came out first. The champs come out second. They charged up the ramp. And they probably, 10 minutes or at least close to it, just brawled around the stage area.
It was long enough to go to picture-in-picture before the match started. Like, that's how long they were outside of the ring, whooping on Death Triangle.
And for the second time tonight, I was so mad that there was something that happened in picture-in-picture that I fully believe should have been on TV. Because Pac did his backflip off of the stage onto the crowd of people, and it was during picture-in-picture.
Pac does a whole lot of flips.
Off the stage to the ground. I'm like, okay.
They did kind of miss one of those flips on camera later.
I'm wondering if you're thinking what I think, because I don't know if he actually flipped, because there was one time that they hinted that he was so set up to do the Black Arrow, and he didn't.
Maybe he didn't do it. I really want to know what he did.
Because I swear, when they cut away, like, he looked like he was waiting for the tag so he could climb up the turnbuckle, right? And then he could go for a Black Arrow after Penta had pulled him over after Fear Factor. Is that the one you're talking about?
God. I think that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Because it's right before, like, Penta went to do the dive to the outside, and then he did, like, the brain buster to Matt, and then he went for it. Yeah, I don't think he had gone for it, because it looked like he was climbing for it, but when they kind of cut back, he wasn't on the ground. You could kind of see him going into the pin, and the way that he was going into the pin doesn't make sense if he had tried to do if he had did the Black Arrow.
Okay.
But then to also attempt the Black Arrow again, like 2 moves later.
That too. And he does it a second time, and he still can't get a pin out of it. Like, so yeah, he probably didn't, but they cut away from it, so I had assumed that that's what was happening there.
It was very awkward. Possibly the only thing of this match, besides the whole, like, so much action happening during picture-in-picture, possibly the only thing that I did not enjoy about this match was that awkward moment, because it really caught me off guard too.
Yeah, you're just like, okay, I guess Pac's going for the pin from whatever he did just now.
Yeah, I think he just was going for the pin that long after the Fear Factor. But I was totally in the same boat, because when he was waiting for the tag, he was kind of like 1 foot up the turnbuckle already, like leaning in, so it looked like they were just going to do the thing like where they tag and he's already halfway up the ropes, and then Penta does the dive.
Yeah,
I was right there with you. I just don't think he did the dive. It's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that does make sense, because he wasn't like in position, like he had just done a splash. Yeah. I don't know, awkward moment in that match. Still a fun match.
And in how you would expect something like a 7-match series to go, there's a lot of the, hey, we know this other team very well, we're going to counter each other's moves, we're going to do each other's moves to each other, because Nick did Casador roll into the cutter on Phoenix.
It was a good one too.
Like, there's about what? I feel like the number used to be smaller, but it's expanded a bit. But I used to say like maybe 6 people that if you put in a match together, even in a one-on-one situation, they're gonna be able to do crazy shit like Phoenix, Nick Jackson. Dante Martin will get to the point where he can do as much as these guys in terms of match quality, but already athletically, of course.
Oh yeah.
AR Fox, I have quickly discovered to be up there.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he's like a hidden gem in wrestling, apparently.
Let's put it this way. Sammy Guevara is a very, very athletic wrestler.
Yeah.
And these guys, I'm saying, are all a step above him in terms of doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah. 'Cause, yeah, you're not seeing Sammy do any of this stuff. Like, you see Sammy do some dope stuff, but this match.
Now, he could totally fit in with him because I think he could probably, he's probably moves better than Matt Jackson, probably moves better than Penta, isn't going to move better than Pac. But, yeah. So, point being, as you and I have both said, you get these 6 in one match together, you're going to enjoy it. You think you might worry about getting burnt out after 7? Well, 3 in and not yet. That is actually why I was very happy you brought up telling a very different story right off the bat. I was like, I could not let that go.
Mm-hmm. That was what stuck out to me the most about this match. Was this one was different. It was more brawly, less flashy. Like, the Elite really, really wanted to take the fight to Death Triangle, and that's the story that they told in this match, and they told it really well.
It was a lot less bullshit on their end, or playing to the crowd and stuff like that. It was get this dub.
Let's get that dub.
Now, you referred to a sweep early on and how we didn't want a sweep.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, somehow, at only 2 wins for Death Triangle, according to Kenny Omega, because he grabbed the mic after.
Yeah.
He said it's going to be no sweep, but it's going to be a reverse sweep. Not possible when it's 2-1.
Yeah, Kenny, I don't know if you've but see, just saying, they told me that Kenny is very familiar with hockey, a sport that has 7-game series in their playoffs. Because I was like, maybe he just doesn't know. And then he's like, well, no, he's very familiar with hockey. He played a lot of hockey and all that. Yeah. You gotta be down 0-3 for it to be called a reverse sweep.
We talked about it as it happened. It was very awkward the way that he grabbed the mic. You said once the match ended, the timing of this was kind of weird with the amount of time left.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like there was not enough time for him to be taking the mic, but too much time left for there to be nothing.
Do you think, because the way that they all acted after the pin, which ended, by the way, Pac went for the Black Arrow, but Matt Jackson got his knees up, and it happened to collide right with Pac's face while he was still wearing the mask. But the way they were all in the ring after, there wasn't really any separation of them. The way they were checking on Pac, do you think anything might have happened there?
That's what I was wondering. Like, did something happen there with Pac, and they were just, and they broke character, and they're just like, let's make sure Pac is okay.
I think they closed the show. They had a view of him like standing up though, like like stare down or
Yeah.
something. So he looked fine at that point. But as that happened, I was like, is the dude gushing blood? Did he break his face again? What's going on?
Yeah, no, he looked fine. But yeah, it was an awkward last 2 minutes that they had time to fill, and Kenny was just kind of like, hey, we got time to fill, so I'm gonna take the microphone.
Said basically those 2 lines about a sweep. He said there's gonna be no sweep with the cleaner here. And then he did his goodbye, good night, bang. Yeah, I just didn't know if Packard got re-injured, if that was affecting their ability to do like the proper celebration. And the thing was okay. It was just weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was awkward. It was awkward. But hey, I'm looking forward to match 4. I feel like only these 2 teams could make you want to see this 7 times.
Especially, a week in between or 2 weeks in between. Like, there's a bunch of teams I would see face a bunch of times, but not like 7 times in 2 months.
No. That's why I said that I couldn't think of anyone else that I'd be like, yeah, let's do it. I can't wait for the next match.
Winner is
coming.
Anybody
else, I'd be like, nah. You gotta stop doing that.
Then
Take a year break.
The end of that match and the promo, being as awkward as it was, doesn't cut it. The most awkward moment of the night, in my mind, was we joke about how this man can't keep his day straight right before the pay-per-view, but the dude can't even walk straight, because at some point in the opening segment, Mox is running up the ramp and he goes off the side of the ramp and falls like face first.
Like stumble a few feet. Like, the best falls are when people stumble a few feet first and then just face plant. That's exactly what Mox did here. The Hangman is standing there at the ramp and he's ready, and then Mox just falls next to him. He's like, oh, all right, the ground is going to beat you instead. And then he still jumps on him anyway.
So you mentioned Hangman, because there was a lot that, well, I don't want to say a lot, but there's a good amount of stuff that happened prior to Mox falling on his face. In some ways, it's kind of karmic what happened to him, because he comes out, fastest entrance Mox has probably ever done. But he basically talks about, from day one, there's been one constant. He's always been at the top of the food chain. Starts kind of talking down to the locker room kind of thing. But pretty quickly interrupted. Yeah. Pretty quickly interrupted by Hangman. Which I didn't know what I expected when he got injured. I haven't been paying attention to know if there was big updates about it. I knew that it was a concussion. As scary as it was at the time.
That's all I knew. Concussion.
Didn't pay attention to know that there was even a chance of him coming back tonight. So that was a nice surprise.
Welcome back, cowboy. One hell of a welcome.
Back in the day, someone said some stuff about Hangman saying that's not cowboy shit, it's coward shit. I would call tonight some cowboy shit.
Yeah.
Comes right out, gets into Mox's face, and Mox says, "You really want to do this again? You know, last time and all." And he kind of revises his words, and it's like,
And he's
do
like,
you
do
even
you even
remember?
remember what happened?
Oh,
And then Hangman's like, nah, son. You can't disrespect me like that.
right after him, cowboy shit. While Hangman was coming out, the commentary said Hangman wasn't cleared. Well, Hangman just brawled with Moxley, so the story might be that he's not clear, but we know.
We know he's clear. He brawled with Moxley twice tonight.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that was the classic. Refs have to pull them apart. Can't keep them apart. They keep breaking away and getting back to each other.
So to me, what I mean by karmic is just the fact that he cracks a joke about Hangman getting a concussion, but then Mox is the one stumbling and can't walk straight and falls flat on his face.
That's so good. That's so good. Like, I don't know how they. I love that actually happened, though.
Mox, did you fall off the
It was
wagon or
just
did you
so
fall off the
funny.
stage?
Oh, that's mean.
Like, I mean, you like if you want to go that route, like starting down, I'm like, we can have lots of fun with this moment, or the fact that you can't remember the days that the pay-per-view's on. Like,
He's just getting old, man. You know, one too many shots to the head. Because he loves violence. And flat surfaces, I'm sure. That ramp kicked his ass today. It was just so funny watching Hangman.
we know why he enters through the crowd.
Flat surface.
He
man.
can't do ramps. I hope you do not end up in a wheelchair, sir, from all your violence, because you are screwed then.
That's what it was. That makes sense. Mox could not handle the ramp. He doesn't do ramps. He's not a ramp guy. He's an in the crowd guy.
I hope somebody has that as a GIF already, because I need to go start that as a tweet like every single day. Like, this is why Mox goes through the crowd.
Yeah, we saw it. We saw it for sure.
So you mentioned it wasn't the first, you know, they brawled more than once. It's because after, let's see, a match, an interview backstage, then we go back and we see that they're brawling again backstage by like the garage door area, pull apart stuff again, whatever. Whole point just being that you can't keep the two apart, right?
Right. So we got, you know, obviously we're building something here with these two, which I'm cool with.
I mean,
I
I'm
think
cool
they've
with
got
it.
Good. I don't know. I think they've got good chemistry.
But Mox was due a vacation.
Yeah. I do also want Mox to get his vacation. Definitely want that. Because, like I said, when a man requests a vacation, that means that he needed that vacation a year before he requested it. So, he needs that vacation.
Now, the big thing about Mox and Hangman brawling again backstage was the fact that when they ended this brawl, they said they had to kick them both out of the arena for a night. Get them both out of there, separate them, do all that, which was a big deal because of a certain segment coming up in which we heard this music that you're hearing right now. Listen to it. Embrace it. Pull out your scarf.
Yeah. MJF finally came out to let you know that he's about to set wrestling on fire.
Now, the reason why this matters is because, of course, Mox said he never wants to see Regal again. Well, Mox was in the arena, and Regal gets to come out, introduce our new world champion. Alright, the music was at the perfect point, like he was coming out again. So, not really much talking, like to kind of start everything off. MJF kind of hops right to the point. Exactly what Regal said he was going to talk about and tell us all last week. He didn't do any of those, like, should I tell you, should I not? Just right into it.
He's like, here's the emails.
It was from after the firm attacked MJF. Because, MJF was saying he wants to do it on his own and everything. And basically Regal, like the firm, all this says MJF growing weak. I mean,
yeah,
sure. Because he wants to grow. I don't know, but I mean, I do get it in terms of being a bad guy, though.
Yeah, Regal said he can be the greatest villain of all time.
Of all time.
Of all time. I wonder if that was in all caps. Because he said it like that.
But basically, his whole thing was like, you could be the greatest villain, but you mustn't grab the diamond ring. You must grab the brass one instead. Which also, play on word for grab the brass ring, about the whole WWE kind of going back to where their story began, all that good stuff. Now, I actually thought this part was good though. Said it was important for it to not be the diamond ring, but the brass knucks, because that was more symbolic against Mox, and he wanted to leave Regal wanted to leave an emotional scar on Mox by turning on him.
Yeah. He said this was. It's like, yeah, it was. He said it was genius work by Regal. Mm-hmm. That's how you beat Mox. You cut him deep.
Now, take those words that you just said, and we'll pin on them because we'll come right back to it in terms of genius. MJF says, nowadays champion, there's going to be some changes around here. The only thing he really does is show us, and he rashes, just hates the AEW championship, tosses it over the ring, right? To unveil his new one, which looks almost exactly the same.
No, the leather is Burberry.
Mm-hmm. Dark brown Burberry pattern on the leather.
Yeah, still the same belt basically.
The only thing,
a slight MJF touch to
it. His belt, the letters in the middle were dark. I feel like possibly darker than what the actual title looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so not crazy. It's like that's one other difference, but same shapes and everything else. Starts to run down the whole locker room and says he's going to be on the long championship reign that would make guys like San Martino, Hogan, etc. jealous, which is big because he's there naming all these legends specifically from other companies and stuff like that.
All guys that have had really long title reigns. Like, he's definitely planning to hold the belt for a long ass time.
All the
Or
way
at
until
least
the bidding war of 2024, where he talks about and he alludes to Triple H because he says the game trips. Once again says good old Saint Nick when referring to Akana's gonna pay up and it's not gonna be Tony. So, definitely alluding to WWE, but then he says maybe no wrestling company. Hollywood.
Yeah.
Whoever cuts the biggest check, basically.
Yeah, I'm gonna say if he gets that big, nobody but Hollywood's cutting the big, cutting a big enough check. Yeah, I liked when he. I was hoping that somebody would like call him out, but he like trashed Eddie Kingston and Ricky Starks.
That's the one that really surprised me. He did Danielson too.
Yeah, he said, because he said they were all fake tough guys, and then Danielson, along with being a fake tough guy, is the middest of the mid.
Now, Ricky Starks, when he got to Ricky, is the one that really surprised me that they didn't come out, because the fact that they already have a match coming up and everything else.
That's why I was like, okay, because when he said Eddie Kingston first, I was like, Eddie's coming out. He ain't taking that shit. No Eddie. And he starts talking Ricky. I was like, oh, okay, Ricky's coming out because they got a match coming up soon. No Ricky. Bryan Danielson. Oh, Bryan Danielson already had a match today. He's not coming out.
He did a little bit later, but there's a rhyme and a reason. And the funny part is Ricky Stark's match was like the next thing that happened. So they easily could have had him come out at like the end and then just have MJF and then leave. But that was not the plan.
Nope. Not at all. The plan was to surprise the shit out of you again.
Because he says one more thing before he goes, after he, kind of continues to say a lot of similar points. Good talking, whatever.
Yeah.
He wants to, before he goes, give a little bit of respect to Regal. He starts praising William as like, for all the blood, the sweat, and the tears. And then it looks like he's starting to walk out of the ring and he's behind Regal. Mind you, he has the brass knucks on because he pulled them out during the conversation about brass earlier. Lays that old man out.
Old man. Laid out Regal's old ass.
I would say he sold it well, but he literally just didn't move. And I mean, they definitely put the gravity on the situation, though. I feel like that was portrayed well.
They did do really well. Oh, just mentioning the shape that Regal's body is in and how many neck injuries he's had, head injuries. And yeah, they made it very serious. And then Regal's a master at work, so even though he's just laying there, he looked like he was laying there dying.
They end up stretching him out. Around this time, Danielson runs out. They make a point to say, like, you see that he's half dressed. He's coming out from the trainer's room because, as you mentioned, he had already wrestled.
Yeah, still had on one boot. Had on shorts over his panties.
But he went to him with the back, and as you pointed out, fake ambulance because there was 0 EMTs in the back of the ambulance riding with Regal, just Danielson.
There was just AEW staff in the back. So it was like that one gigantic, like, guy that's always at ringside.
Doc Samson?
It's not a wrestler. I don't know. I don't know what his name is or anything. I just know he's a big ass dude for a dude that's not actually wrestling and just holds a clipboard.
Yeah, because I think usually at the table ringside you have whoever the timekeeper is, Justin Roberts and probably Doc Samson.
Probably then. Big ass dude. Clipboard. Black polo shirt.
But MJF wasn't done after he laid him out, actually. Kind of skipped a part. He recited the email that Regal sent to him to kind of cut ties with him trying to get into WWE by saying, we only hire the top stars and the top athletes around the world. Reach back out when you're one of those. Except he flipped everything, saying MJF only hires them. So, yeah. There's a rhyme and a reason. He says, you forgot you made a deal with the devil.
Dun, dun. Made a deal with the devil, and the devil said, fuck you.
Your dun 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 was pretty close again.
It's because I'm in tune.
Now, there's a weird part about this because Ricky had a match coming up next against Ari Daivari. But when it comes out, immediately the firm walks out, which I cracked up when Matt Hardy cut in between them all and did everything because different tape segments.
That was pretty good. And the firm comes out, and Stokely and Ethan Page are getting ready to rain on Ricky's parade. Matt Hardy's just like, nah, delete.
Stokely tells him get his ass to the back.
Stokely, get your ass to the back.
But Starks earlier in the night had mentioned in a promo that, you know, next week is the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal, and the rule's gonna be a little bit different this year because the only guy who's ever won is now the champion. So you can't really do the one-on-one match with him after. But Stark says he's going to enter. He's going to win because he's going to take everything from MJF, because everything MJF has, he deserves too. Well, now it's Ethan's turn to basically say, you took the number one contendership for me, so I'm going to join that match, and I'm going to beat MJF once MJF successfully defends his title against you. People cheered a little bit, and Ethan's like, don't cheer him, he's a piece of shit. MJF. So it was weird because he kind of was like saying, hey, after their beef with MJF, you're gonna lose to that guy. But no, he's a piece of shit, I'm gonna beat him.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit, man.
So that was next with Starks versus Ari Daivari. They distract him. They allow Ari to run up and like attack him, but that really didn't matter.
It's still a squash match. Yeah, this was not the match that I was expecting to be a squash match.
Yeah, I expected this one to be a little bit more competitive and the one that we talked about to be a little bit quicker. Because
yeah, this was definitely not the one that I expected to be a squash, but I was all right with it. Because once it got partway through the episode, timeline wise, I said, okay, this is definitely going to be a squash and talking segment. And then when we got to it, there was talking before the wrestling.
yeah.
I was like, oh, yep, here we go. Yep.
It was basically Ari got a sneak attack in, Ricky counter or something, spear, Rochambeau, win.
Yep.
And Stokely was just like, fuck.
Stokely was like, yeah, well,
That backfired.
That sucks. He just went down there and shit on this guy. And Ari Daivari supposed to be the richest man in AEW. Money can't win wrestling matches.
Richest man in AEW or wrestler?
I think wrestling
Okay.
in general.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if you would compare yourself to an owner of the company anyway. I'm like, I don't know how much money he technically has, but his dad owns an NFL franchise
Oh yeah,
and other sports teams.
yeah, balling,
He
out
may,
of control balling.
he may not be the richest now, but one day, a lot more of it will be his.
Hell yeah, Ari Daivari taking over the world. He's gonna be the richest man.
As soon as you said take over the world, my brain went to Pinky and the Brain, and I was like, he's skinny, so he'd have to be the tall one. And I was like, crap, there's not going to be anyone in wrestling that's going to be shorter and stouter. I mean, Ari Daivari's on the short end already.
Yeah. What about that one dude and the wife beater that comes out with him? I think he's like slightly shorter than him and rounder.
I need a much bigger difference. And the sad part is it's not even necessarily roundness. A lot of Brain's thighs was the dude had the biggest head.
Yeah, I don't know how big dude's head is. I can't even remember the guy's name. It was just like Eminem or something.
Slim J.
Yeah, Yep, Eminem. Slim Shady, Slim Shay. I see where I got Eminem from.
We need to replace his hat with one of those big hats, so that way his head can be more along the brain size. Have you seen those giant hats?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's like a giant hat. What football player was that that had the giant hat?
Was it Brian Robinson for the Commanders?
Yep. Yeah.
Shout out to him getting shot in the offseason and as a rookie coming back and able to play.
Hell yeah, man. That's incredible. Let's not talk football because we will go way off the rails.
I was sitting there looking. Because as incredible as that story is, physically incredible, AR Fox got himself a TNT Championship match tonight against Samoa Joe. This is the match that I thought was going to end a lot faster than it did.
Yes. Yeah. So it's before we got to this match, he says to me, "I'm sorry for what's gonna happen," and pleasantly surprised that what he thought was gonna happen didn't happen.
So here's the thing. The story has been like that whole little situation with Hobbs, Wardlow, and Samoa Joe, all being dominant physical forces. So I thought you would continue that trend with someone like AR Fox, who is smaller, doesn't have the equity built up in AEW. It made all the sense in the world. I mean, granted, Joe kind of played with him, but
He does.
yeah,
He
it's
does
fun
play with
it.
him a bit, but yeah. But I think I don't know. AR Fox is just so fun to watch that it's a crime if you were to go just send him out there to get squashed.
And that's why I had said sorry to you. If people haven't figured it out, it was like, hey, someone you want to see is on TV. But I just heard that it's for a TNT Championship match, and that's not going to go well for him.
Yeah. So it was longer than I expected, and I am appreciative. AR Fox got to do a few things. I like the spot when Joe dodged his somersault outside the ring. Joe just starts walking away. No. You gotta save that for much later. for the main event. No, so I love that moment where he does the somersault out the ring and Joe does his typical nope, just walk away.
He always has a smirk on his face too when he does it. Like, yeah.
He's like, yeah, I got him, dumbass. AR Fox is like, come on, man, I landed on my feet.
Just give him that tall, standing up straight look. Like, what do you think you do, sir?
Yeah, he's like, I landed on my feet, man. You ready for this? You should have just jumped on him.
Which is funny because later there's a point where Fox does get a little bit of a flurry of offense. Joe kicks out. Fox is a little bit surprised, and that's when I go, that was the last of your offense, sir.
Yep, that was definitely it.
He went for another dive move on Joe. This time the sidestep worked. Fox went down. He ends up putting him up for the Muscle Buster and getting the win. And then shit just got worse.
Our Fox is all elite, though.
Be happy about that, because the next thing that happened was a stupid ass Wardlow promo. Well, I mean, technically Joe went to talk first. TNT champion. That's a network. Ring of Honor TNT champion. TV network. Also, Ring of Honor TV champion. He is the king of TV.
Yeah. King of TV.
At least it made sense.
All right, Joe. The king of TV.
I was more fine with him saying that because at least it made sense than anything Wardlow said, because it was terrible. I mean, you might not have said it as much, but I thought it was terrible.
I wouldn't say terrible, but I gotta say it. I don't understand the hype behind Wardlow. I don't dislike him at all, but good God, people. His promos are not good.
They kind of hit on everything that you don't want. Very cliche. Stiff as a board. The actual delivery of it was bad, and Wardlow's World is the stupidest thing I've heard since Warjo.
Yeah, he's sticking with that Wardlow's World thing. I can't not think of Bobby's World or Wayne's World.
Exactly.
Whenever he does that,
my brain went to exactly those two things.
Yeah, those are the first two things I think of when he says Wardlow's World. But regardless,
they know it works.
You and I'm gonna say you and I are the two outliers here, because the crowd is chanting Wardlow, Wardlow.
Yep.
And one of the loudest chants of the night.
Yeah.
So we're definitely on the outside. They let ourselves with this one.
They let Joe act a little bit
yeah, Joe's a little So he's like, oh my goodness, the Wardlow fans.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know how this, like, the right word for how he reacted, but it was acting almost like paranoia kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Everyone should be rooting for Joe, not Wardlow.
I'm still rooting for Hobbs.
I don't know what the fuck his video package was tonight.
It was Luke Cage. That's what it was. I feel like Hobbs' video tonight was a 30-second clip from Luke Cage.
It was basically, he was narrating stuff, talking about being bullied and being beat up, but in reality, the video itself was walking through the neighborhood, not the nicest neighborhood. People.
Yeah, and he's just scared. Like, nobody's being aggressive to him, but he's scaring the shit out of people. So I'm like, so you went from bully to bully? Ooh.
Yeah. Commentators said they're excited to see what's next in the Book of Hobbs. I don't understand how that video did anything to excite anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. All I know is if the next thing in the Book of Hobbs is going to be like losing to Wardlow and Joe again, I don't want it to be in the book. Skip that chapter.
What if somehow they throw it together super quick in a matter of a week between Final Battle and like a Dynamite? They have Joe lose the TNT title to Wardlow and Joe lose the Ring of Honor TV title to Hobbs. I would hate it for Samoa Joe.
Yeah. Yeah, I would hate that for Joe too. But I don't know.
You also can't put it right back on Wardlow that quick anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't. I think I really do think that Wardlow is going to be built towards being in one of MJF's major feuds.
So somehow, possibly, he doesn't overcome Samoa Joe in the end?
Maybe not. Or, I don't know, maybe he does. And AEW doesn't really except for when it's Samoa Joe holding a Ring of Honor and an AEW title, like you don't see people with 2 AEW belts. There's not many of them, but
yeah, I was trying to think. We've had,
you just don't see the double champ thing
with Pac when he was trios and All Atlantic.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was trios and All Atlantic. Like, I don't see them being like, hey, Wardlow, we're going to let you win the TNT title back and you'll have a shot at MJF.
Yeah. Neither
like
one of those
takes away one of your title matches.
Yeah, neither one of those championships is like featured individual superstar like the others.
Right.
But now, if we want to talk about a match with individuals and superstars, and from a classic sense, the best match has to be the best match of the night from a classic wrestling sense. Dax Harwood, Bryan Danielson.
Ooh.
Just,
we knew this was going to be a banger when they put this on the card.
the downside is all it did was remind everybody, like, what the fuck have you been doing with FTR for the past 5-6 months?
Hey, they had some good Ring of Honor matches. And
They were Wardlow's little buddies for a couple of times.
yeah, and they helped Wardlow. And yeah. And then they've been dads since.
Quality wise, the first 5-6 months of 2022, Dax Hardwood was like a MVP type of wrestler, putting on some of the consistently best matches, whether it be single or tag team. And then they disappeared.
You mentioned that he was having a wrestler of the year kind of year, and then the momentum just stalled. I hadn't thought about it like that, but yeah. In like first half of the year, Dax Harwood, I would say it was part of the half of the best matches I had seen. At least, probably part of at least half of the best matches I've seen.
They had,
and then they stopped wrestling so much.
Numerous really good matches as FTR.
Yep.
He had, like, if he had a solo match on Dynamite with somebody, or Rampage, whatever he was on at the time, chances are it was probably the best match of the night. This night's only an exception because you had Death Triangle versus the Elite.
Yeah. And you had Willow Nightingale. Best wrestler on the roster. But this match, Dax and Bryan Danielson, dope.
That's why I
said, a lot of respect.
That's why I said early. We had like this from a classical standpoint. Very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is definitely like, other than the fact that Danielson does topes and stuff, it's definitely like two classic wrestlers.
I'll even take topes because it's not like he's doing springboard 450s.
Yeah, he's not doing anything like that. But.
Yeah. Danielson's chest messed up like it often is when he gets into matches with people that can strike.
Dude, just the combination of the top tier wrestling, and then whenever you get Dax in the ring, that means there's going to be some hard hitting. And Danielson, he is down to strike, despite being smaller than most of the guys that are going to be wanting to strike. He is so down for it.
I would say, it's a requisite for being part of the combat club, but that doesn't really matter because that thing's falling apart.
Yep.
Get to that in a moment.
Yeah, I did not think that was going to be falling apart like that.
But this match, just reversals after reversal after reversal.
Yeah, you reverse the reversal.
And then they reverse that forward. Reversal.
Yeah. And then you skip. And then I have Uno.
But secretly, all my cards that are left are all draw 4 wilds. No.
Yeah. Secretly, all my cards are reverse. At least all their cards were reversed, and you're like, shit, reverse.
Would you like to take a guess on how the match finished?
It wasn't a reversal.
After a series of pin attempts and reversals and all that stuff, it kind of rolled right into a label lock, which Dax ends up tapping out for. But nice long match. They even did the exhausted spot in the middle of the match where they lean into each other and then fall over.
Yeah. It was like these dudes could both go for another half hour. Like, we know they're not exhausted.
We know Danielson could. I would actually be interesting to see what Dax could do.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, we've seen you Danielson go more than 30 minutes.
Now,
Dax solo, who knows?
probably could do it, but probably go a while longer. But I'd wonder how much we would see the style of the match change, like if it was just played more for that slower style. But in the end, Danielson, as you talked about with respect, puts his hands out, wants to shake hands. Dax acts like he's about to walk out of the ring, does a quick turn and like jokingly like, yeah, I'm messing with you. Shakes his hand, they embrace. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate this one.
I mean,
I think this was a match for the wrestling fans out there.
not only that, but Danielson has to make new friends. His rest of his friends are falling apart.
Yeah, everybody's gonna leave him behind.
I mean, Claudio's about to be a sports entertainer again.
That's true. God damn, the JAS is going strong.
Yeah. Renee had a little sit down with, well, most of JAS. Garcia, Daddy Magic, Cool Hand, Hager. In his purple
Everyone
hat.
except for Jericho, Sammy, Ty,
And Anna.
and Anna. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because Anna had a match to lose. I mean, to be in.
So, yeah, that's literally half of JAS.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest faction.
Yeah, they're a big ass faction that's about to include Claudio.
Yeah. Because it was all them, and then on the other side, it was just Wheeler Yuta and Claudio. You know, they talk about Claudio being in the spotlight, you know, with his championship match coming up, but if he loses, becomes a sports entertainer.
Hager brandishes, has his purple hat on, brandishes another purple hat, tosses it to Claudio. He's like, I know you're a good sports entertainer.
We could be a team again.
Claudio got pissed and kicked his chair over. Man, I'm loving Hager in the purple hat obsession. I didn't know he could do comedy.
And the nice thing is, I mean, my bar is low for him, but Claudio talking, it didn't seem as awkward as he normally does. Didn't seem great by any means, but it wasn't as awkward as he usually can be.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it wasn't bad for Claudio. He's going to be a sports entertainer soon, but, you know, it's good to see him go out.
But
Not sports entertaining.
one more sign that the BCC is falling apart is the fact that he left Yuta alone with half of JAS. Because he started out, and they're just clowning on Yuta.
Yuta was coming back at them hard.
But Garcia says he's glad they joined JAS because BCC's falling apart, and he wants to beat up those pro wrestler nerds. They say, hey, we want a tag team match against you two. He says, I'm only even paying attention to you because I want that title. So the pure title match was set for Final Battle.
Yeah. Yeah, Yuta and Garcia at Final Battle again.
It'll be
I don't know,
fun.
it'll be fun. It'll be a good match. That's for sure.
Now,
That's for sure.
we're both speculating that Claudio ends up a sports entertainer.
Yeah, I don't think the Jericho reign is going to end that soon.
I'm torn between my reasoning being because of that, and also because of clearly with the BCC falling apart, you need a direction to go with Claudio, as opposed to, you know, obviously Max is kind of separate, going his own way. Regal kind of separated, so you gotta find something to do, but the group is basically dead.
Yeah, like the group is dying, and JAS is flourishing, so that's where Claudio's going. Now, man, last year when the BCC started, if you had told me that the JAS would be going strong and the BCC would be pretty much non-existent already, I would not have believed you.
I mean, I knew JS could go strong, but I figured, he's already had.
Mm-hmm.
He had the inner circle. Now JS. MJF had more. I don't know how long it's been going, but I don't know. I honestly figured Jericho would have took one of his long ass breaks by now.
Hey. He's trying to get his shit in right now. He knows he ain't got too many more good matches left in him, I think.
Yeah, that's why I kind of figured it would have happened by now, so he could have, did like maybe 2 years, take 6 months, do another like 2 years or something.
Who knows? He's just gonna work his ass off and then retire. Maybe.
I mean, from wrestling, maybe.
Just don't stick around too long, Jericho.
Now, the way he does commentary, would you want him to ever do commentary full time?
I think I prefer Taz.
I think the only reason he can be really good on commentary is because he's still an active wrestler. So it's the crossover in between those two things. Like when he's doing the whole "who does that" line or whatever. It only works because he's a wrestler.
It works because he just did it last week. Who does that? Who would do that? Like you last week on Dynamite.
So you take away the wrestler side of him, and some of the most entertaining parts of his commentary game go away too.
Yeah. The Ocho. But then he'll always be able to end the show with the Ocho.
Wizard, Fireball. How's he gonna reinvent himself if he can't do stupid stuff like that?
I don't know. He's just gonna be a shirtless commentator. That's gonna be his thing. People are gonna know him as the shirtless commentator. Like the next generation's gonna be like, "Oh, the shirtless commentator." Like, yeah, Jericho, a wrestler. Sorry, a sports entertainer.
So, don't know if I even want to talk about that.
Let's get
Tony Schiavone, because we're not done with Saraya. They announced that Saraya is going to have a sit-down interview. Rampage, right, with Renee?
Yes, on Rampage.
So Tony's backstage interviewing, on his side of things. He's there with Britt, Jamie, and the whole point of this was basically, why'd she get a sit-down interview and not your brand new champion? So Tony's gonna do one with Jamie next week, but Jamie actually got words in tonight. Not many.
He was the one that got to ask why Saraya's getting this interview instead of Britt. Like, she talked first. There was that.
No, Britt talked first.
Oh no, yeah, Britt talked first, and then
he talked about the Pittsburgh beating Indianapolis and Indy. But
the Pittsburgh stuff.
Is this interview going to be a sit-down interview with Jamie?
No.
And that's what I was kind of figured, but they haven't shown her frustrated with Britt yet. But that's what I figured.
Yeah, I think it seems like I don't know why, but they're really slow playing the shit out of this split between those two. Because it's like, oh, things were looking real bad. Now things are good. Now things aren't looking perfect anymore.
You know what? I'm okay with it. The reason being is we haven't really seen Jamie do a ton of talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you can slowly transition it from like 99% Brit, like 1% Jamie, and slowly give them more and kind of like work her into where she can talk just as much, and then you can really work on their program together.
Yeah.
As opposed to just handing her a mic and say talk and then not really being, because I don't know what to expect when she goes to talk, because we haven't really seen her try to talk more than like 10 seconds at a time.
Yeah, like she gets 2 lines and then Britt Baker does the talking. That's why I'm like, the crowd really loves Jamie Hayter, but she hasn't talked. What if she's not that good on the mic, you guys? But like I said, we're gonna find out. And yeah, the sit-down interview is probably going to be mostly Britt talking, but Jamie Hayter's got to talk a little bit at least. So look forward to seeing what she does on the microphone.
What if the sit-down interview starts off with like the 2 chairs kind of saying opposite, and it's just the 2 of them, and then Britt like walks in, like moves the table from the middle, it's like, all right, let me get in here, and she has to be right in the middle.
That sounds like something she would probably do. Wouldn't doubt it.
If that's what happened, you heard it here first.
Yeah, predictions.
But
call it Top Rope Tokes, Miss Cleo.
I'm gonna step aside what happened next, because we'll circle back to it. Next thing we'll talk about, the baddie celebration. I'll let you just enjoy this moment. Have at it as much as you want.
Oh man. So I really didn't know what to expect out of a title celebration for a title that you didn't really win, because you already had it. So that was really odd to me. But yo, I've been saying since the moment that I started watching AEW, like, yeah, Jade's rough around the edges, but Jade is straight money. Like, that is exactly how I've been wording it. Jade is straight money. Like, straight money. And she came out today in a green fur coat and a Benjamin bikini. Like, she had $100 bill for the top.
Yep. And
goddamn Jade.
She had the 2 there. She had like a bill on each of her arms, something on each of her thighs, and some long boots on them long legs.
Goodness, Jade. She said she's the real deal. She's the real deal. I don't care how much people are whining about her winning a belt too early and needing more work. She's getting better. But what's undeniable is that she's got star power.
Oh,
which is something that most of the women's roster doesn't have in AEW, unfortunately. Or, I mean, a lot of them they could build that way, but they don't do it right.
There's
but
some they can build that way. We've seen some that they've tried, and cannot match her charisma. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, the point is Jade's a star. She's got the charisma. Just let her keep doing whatever it is she's doing.
they push Tony Storm to the moon. But Luigi Pizza gets bigger pops. Luigi Primo, sorry. I was like, I know there's another word in here.
The guy spitting the pizzas. Still want to know why I really wanted to see the pizza guy get to wrestle. No, but sorry, Jade looking like money, but yeah, she was just going off though.
I mean, she starts
Told
off.
the baddies they need to get their stuff together because she makes all the decisions. She decides who gets to be a baddie.
Took it a step further. She said she got rid of the trash last week.
Mm-hmm.
Who was wondering why Layla and Red were hanging out with her over the weekend. And that's why they told her, get in line.
Yeah, she said to get in line. Get with Jade, because basically Jade said what I said. She's money. She knows it. Get with the money.
Everyone eats off her.
Yep.
Literally her choice of words while almost naked in the ring.
Yeah, everyone eats off her.
I mean, it's a very nice looking plate.
I want dinner.
I don't
yeah,
know
she says
how
little Bow Wow's a joke.
I don't know how any of that started or what the hell the story is. I know there was an interaction on Twitter.
Yeah, there was like some kind of. I think Lil Bow Wow was talking about how fire Jade looks on Twitter, and Jay's just kind of like, yeah, whatever, sir. Because that video where he pops in and basically that's all he did. He's just like, hey girl. He just was being like the creepy guy, like, what up?
He was both very positive and negative, because he said something like, get your flowers, you know, celebrate, be happy over your big win. And he was like belittling it. So then he says he's not on tour, so he'll see her soon, real soon.
Yep. Yeah.
Didn't he literally do that? Like the creepiest thing you can do while saying it?
This was like he was just being real creepy. And Jade was rightfully like kind of frazzled. Like, yeah, this creepy ass dude just showed up at my job.
Man, in his background, I don't know where he was, but he looked like fucking Dexter, the serial killer, with like his plastic sheets up behind him or whatever it was.
Hey, Bow Wow is out here, man. He's out here killing them. Yeah, that was interesting. But Jade, fucking money.
Red Velvet, nice to have you around again.
We missed you, Red Velvet.
Although I didn't get to see Kira.
Kira, you're always a baddie in our hearts.
And I can't wait to see you bring the fight to Jade down the line. You may not win. A lot of that's going to depend on like crowd reaction and stuff like that down the line. But it's going to be interesting when the story comes.
Yeah, I want to see it. I'm interested. I'm excited to see what happens with Kiera Hogan next. Being a baddie worked for her, but it didn't. Like, it's not gonna get her anywhere else.
Yeah, she was always gonna be like number 2 in that. It wasn't gonna propel her at all. Which sucks because even though the whole gimmick probably fits her as good as it can fit anyone, and she did it well. But when you are the best wrestler of the group,
yeah,
it kind of sucks.
Yeah, like you're not gonna get the shine when Jade is Jade. So now, so we liked her as a baddie, but yeah, excited to see what she can do next. Not as a baddie.
Whenever that time may come. But speaking of time, you know what time it is?
It's time for the main event. Willow Nightingale versus Anna Jay, baby.
For those of you who are with us, get to know this real fast. Doesn't matter if it's the first match on the show, second match on the show, third match on the show, if it's on YouTube for the 0 hour before a pay-per-view. Any match with Willow is going to be the main event for this man.
It is the main event for all of us, the whole world, because we all love Willow. The whole, like, everyone loves the Acclaimed, but you know, we all love Willow too. We just don't all admit it, like me. That's all.
Now, the Acclaimed like to say AEW stands for Acclaimed every Wednesday. I say Willow's name's built right into it. All Elite Willow.
Mm-hmm. See, the company was made for her. That's why this was the main event.
And the fans love her energy.
They sure do. She gets, like, for her to be one of the newer women's wrestlers, she gets, like, the best reactions other than, like, Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker. Like, maybe Hikaru Shida.
I would say Surya is probably up there, but also because, you know, just returned all that other stuff, so circumstances.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, I'm not counting her yet until she's been around for a few months. So we saw what happened with Ruby. So
all that you need to know is who's had bigger crowd reactions, Willow Nightingale or former AEW Women's Champion Toni Storm.
Oh, Willow Nightingale. Here we go. Toni Storm. Yeah. Willow is but Willow is setting AEW on fire, and I love it because she is clearly my favorite women's wrestler, and so yeah, I'm really happy to see that she is setting things on fire here. And she whooped Anna Jay's ass.
And we weren't sure which way this was going to go between knowing Anna Jay, they want to push her. She also has the help. But you know Willow's made a very strong impression recently. I didn't know if you're going to have to see AR Fox and Willow lose in the same night. Or just AR Fox.
Yeah. Like, AR Fox, if seeing him on Dynamite was a win. Like, now seeing Willow on TV is not a win for me anymore. Now I need to see her win on TV. So I'm just like, all right, hell yeah, she's on TV, but she's got to win because she's on TV a lot now. Can't just lose all the time.
I don't want to say this match was good. I don't want to say it was bad. I think a good part of that is the fact that Anna Jay is still very, very young and very, very inexperienced.
Yeah.
Don't really care for her personality.
Yeah, she needs some work, definitely. Willow wrestled circles around her here, and
it's a kind of like a very average match in terms of in-ring stuff. But they really played up the story of obviously the interference from Ty Mello. Was that going to cost Willow or was that not going to cost Willow? That was the question.
Yep. And that was the whole thing about this match. That's what I was like, in my heart and my head, Willow should beat Anna Jay just because she's got momentum right now. And just look at her. She's big. She's strong. Anna Jay's young, inexperienced. I mean, Willow's probably not much older than her, but still, she's been around for a bit longer, from my understanding.
Now, you kind of just touched on something that I was thinking about during the course of this match, and I was paying attention that Anna Jay has a slight height advantage on her. It looked like Willow's 28, 29 in a couple months, by the way. And I think Anna Jay's like early 20s.
Okay.
But Willow, size advantage. It's not that she's short. Do you feel like she possibly sells too much? Like, should she be a little bit more of, when she's being attacked, a little bit more of like a brick house kind of situation? I'm not saying a ton. Don't be a monster.
You know what? So yeah, I guess kind of, yeah, because generally the bigger wrestler is going to just fight through a lot of stuff, or at least a few things, but she does take a lot of hits, and they definitely always affect her. But I don't know, I think that's just
Anna Jay's 24.
I think it's her character too. Yeah, okay.
So maybe just a mix of the whole, I don't want to say naive, because I think in the beginning, you know, they kind of had that fresh, like, wide-eyed, bushy tail, kind of like not knowing about any better kind of thing going for her. Because they even kind of talked about her inexperience and using the story in a match. Maybe it's just something that she has to kind of grow into.
I think so. I think, yeah, like no selling too much is, but like sell less on some things. Yeah, she probably should, just because she's, especially now that she's kind of building up this reputation for being like a powerhouse. Like that she runs everybody over and she's just beating everybody's ass right now.
I mean, just do the little thing that's been done for all time in wrestling. Shrug off some strikes more. Do that.
Yeah, like she went toe to toe with the current champ.
Like angry face, like shrug off a strike, angry face it, maul somebody.
She's got lots and lots of potential, and
maybe that's when we get it. When somebody makes her so angry that she turns from happy Willow to angry Willow for a minute. Like when she kind of has to flip that switch for the first time.
Oh, I'm enjoying the fun, bubbly Willow right now, so I don't even want to know. Like, I'm not even ready for another layer of Willow yet. Like I am, I'm fully satisfied where I'm at right now. But you know, if there's more Willow layers,
I mean, it could just be one of those days where, like, eventually you want to be able to be like, oh, you tried to do this to Willow. I want the crowd chanting, "You fucked up."
yeah. That would be dope. That would be dope. Speaking of you fucked up. When Willow gets that doctor bomb on you, you fucked up. Willow's doctor bomb is my hit of the night.
Can't remember exactly how it happened because I know she went for it once. It got countered. Yeah. She might have went for it. I know one of the time it got I think it got countered once, and I think once she stopped because of Ty.
Yeah. Yeah, it got countered the first time. Anna starts like elbowing her. Looked like she was about to go for like the little Queen Slayer thing. I think that's what her submission is. But yeah, and then I hopped up on the side of the ring. I'm like, hey.
Now, that part really surprised me after, because from the time that she got Ty out of the situation, from that point to the time that she went for the Dr. Bomb the next time and got it and went for the pin, a lot of time went by. I'm like, I'm surprised Ty's not back and involved somehow.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh no, Willow's gonna lose this match. Because Ty's gonna do something. But then when I saw that Dr. Bomb happen, she's got my favorite power bomb, not Wardlow, right now.
I always liked the gut wrench power bomb, and I've always liked sit out power bomb. So when you combine the two like that and it looks good, I appreciate it. I will still take the one that I recently saw Keith Lee do.
Oh, yeah, his is nasty too.
But I do love her gut wrench power bomb, her Dr. Bomb. It's a shame that after a lot of times we see power bombs and it's a regular move, or it's kicked out of. Including, we have some people using it as a finisher, and it still gets a little bit of respect.
Yeah, like it has to be something special to your power bomb, of course. Like Wardlow does 200 power bombs. Dax does that slingshot thing. But Willow's got the gut wrench sit down.
Now keep in mind, Dax will only beat someone with his slingshot that is like maybe a future TNT champion at most kind of level wrestler. Danielson and stuff like that, it's not winning.
Yeah, not against Brian. But it's Dax's last thing. Like, all right, well, he kicked out of that one, so Dax is not winning this match.
Now, if you made it this far and you're here with us tonight, do us a favor. Down below, there's a like button. There's also a subscribe button. There's also this nice little thing that looks like a comment box. You can totally say something, like opinions, thoughts. Let us know who your favorite wrestler is. Tell us why it's also Willow Nightingale.
Yeah.
Or Jamie Hayter, but don't tell him I said that.
Yeah. There is a right and wrong answer to that question. There's only one right answer.
The AEW Women's World Champion. Or
Willow
Adam Cole.
Willow could be at some point. I could definitely see her being the champ. So,
He hasn't been around in a while, but what if I just say Adam Cole so you could say Bebe, and then you can just count that as Willow and we're both right?
Nah.
I miss Adam Cole.
I do too, but he's not Willow.
At least we got one Adam back tonight.
We did get an Adam. Now let's get the other Adam.
Then we can start making molecules.
Wait, what?
You say Adam,
Oh,
get another Adam.
God
I said
damn
we
it.
can start making molecules.
God damn it. That's Adams as that Adam.
Kind of like, you know, 90s
Fucking nerd.
Adam Bomb, the wrestler.
I don't remember Adam Bomb.
It was like pre-wrestling actually being entertaining. Like mid 90s slash maybe before.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that makes sense because my memory of wrestling before like 95 or 96 is real foggy.
I think I could be entirely wrong on this part. I think that Adam Bomb was Brian Adams, which was also Crush, which was also one of the members of Chronic in WCW. As kind of like from the time right before WCW went down. Sorry, it wasn't Brian Adams, it was Brian Clark, but I was right about part of it. So is Brian Clark, he was known as, one ring name was called the Night Stalker, teaming up with Bow Wow, taught Bow Wow everything he knows. Creepy bastard. Adam Bomb and Wrath, and then also under his own name, but Wrath was his name as part of that Chronic. Wrath and Mortis, I think, were the names. They wore masks. They came over in the invasion angle and faced Undertaker and Kane, and they got destroyed. And, you know, kind of like many things in WCW, Vince said, fuck that.
Yeah.
Get out of my company.
Fucking Vince.
Oh my god. This is from WWF time in 93 to 95. In May 1993, Clark debuted as Adam Bomb, the newest client of Johnny Polo. You don't know the name Johnny Polo, do you, for wrestling? Because I didn't remember it either. It's just the fun fact of learning about Johnny Polo. You will never, ever, ever guess who the fuck Johnny Polo was.
Nope. I won't.
Alright, so I'm gonna do you a favor.
Can't see it.
Did it phase in now yet?
It is white.
Oh, yeah. Raven.
Oh. Johnny Polo.
Yeah. Not only that, much cleaner look to him at the time. Or I shouldn't say cleaner look, because like his face obviously wasn't going to change too drastically.
Yeah.
But let me know how well you can possibly see this, because I can only see what I see on stream right now.
You gotta point it more this way. You can kind of see it. Yeah, like
He looked like he was in a country club.
yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, debate on just telling you look up Johnny Polo after. Early 90s, man.
Yeah.
And then Nirvana became popular and Raven became Raven. I'm sure there's a lot
about
more.
Raven.
I'm sure there's
What
a lot
about
more
him?
to that story, but yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of wish those old school WCW games, when they had all the factions, all that, like if there was a story mode And because that game was all about factions, if you had to choose a faction, I was not choosing WCW. Like the WCW people were like the boring characters, like the Four Horsemen and Bill Goldberg.
Yeah.
Can't remember if Sting was
Goldberg. Hey. Hey, don't talk shit about Goldberg. See when he comes out with the fireworks and and all the dudes following him and stuff, and the crowd chanting Wardlow.
I thought about doing that earlier when you started talking about him. I don't know if that game, if Sting was still WCW or Wolfpack at the time, but I probably would have chose to be a part of the Flock, because I remember the Flock was in the game.
Yeah, nope. Wolfpack all day, son. Don't turn your back on the Wolfpack.
I can't remember which WCW video game was that.
Where you didn't turn your back on the Wolfpack.
So, I don't remember which one was faction heavy.
I don't remember either. It wasn't No Mercy.
All right.
That's all I know.
So
I played the shit out of No Mercy.
So I'm gonna skip 96 because it wasn't WCW versus the World. So 97 was WCW versus NWO World Tour. 98 was WCW NWO Revenge. 99 was something called Mayhem. There was also a Thunder in 1998. And then we get into games we don't want to talk about.
Yeah, I think the last one of those that I remember was the WCW NWO Revenge.
Because it has like Backstage Assault. I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. Revenge definitely had Wolfpack because in this little clip that I'm seeing, it has Hall, Nash, and Macho Man all in black and red. Don't care anymore. Anyways, go to bed.
Yeah, I'm tired, y'all. Have a good night.
We'll see you Friday night.
And you know what that means.
It's like Groundhog's Day. We just got to start all over again. Night.
Guys.